And it is time to go ahead and get started. Hey, welcome to At the Track Live. My name is Coach James. I am the creator and the lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics, you ask? Glad you asked, even if you didn't ask. All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics related topics, including Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, aerodynamics, drag, lift, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic energy, downforce, and just a whole range of science topics. After I have taught them the science, after we have conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to pick one Hot Wheels car that they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the class about aerodynamics and all the other topics. Which car do they think would be fastest? They pick their car. They examine their car. They take pictures of their car. They enter information into a spreadsheet. They document the year the car was manufactured. They weigh the car. They test the speed of the car. After they've done all that, collected all the data and information, then we head to the track and we have a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip that is ready to go. The cars are set up. We have a tournament. We race the cars and the students observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And based on those results and those observations, would they select that car again if they had the opportunity? Or would they make a different choice based on what they've observed? And we have fun with Hot Wheels cars. We learn science. And what could be better? So that is All About Aerodynamics. And if you'd like more information about the science program and how to bring it to your school or your organization or your special event, then all you have to do is go to our website, aaerodynamics.com, or you can just go to our Instagram account right down there. And all the information is in the bio. If you have any questions, you can contact me and I will answer your questions. And hopefully we will figure out a way to bring All About Aerodynamics to your students and have some fun with Hot Wheels, learn some science. But this is not All About Aerodynamics. This is All About Aerodynamics presents At the Track Live. We're not quite ready for a bathroom break. That's something that we take with the students. But this is At the Track Live. Let me hit the right button. There we go. That's what I was looking for right there. At the Track Live is an opportunity for me to introduce new cars into the fleet. So before I bring the cars to the students, I have to make sure that I have cataloged and kept track of the cars, because anytime you're bringing things for a number of students to use, it's easy for things to get confused, lost in the shuffle. And I don't want that to happen. I need to know which Hot Wheels cars I'm taking to the students so I can know exactly which cars I am bringing back. And in order to do that, I have to enter all the information about the cars into my own spreadsheet. I have to take a picture of the cars, shoot a little video, because there is an online version of All About Aerodynamics, and the students, since they won't physically be present, they need to be able to see the cars to make an accurate pick. So doing that, going through that process was very boring, so I created At the Track Live so I can do it every Saturday. I'll go into storage, I'll pull out 6 new cars, crack those open, take a look at them, take the pictures, take the video, enter the information into the spreadsheet, and then since the track is set up, race the cars, have a little mini tournament, see which car is the day's champion. But wait, there's more. Because it's live, there is an opportunity for you to participate. And the way that can happen is you go to AtTheTrack.live. There are 3 options. One is the YouTube stream link, one's the Twitch stream link, but the third and most important option is the one that says choose a car. If you select that option, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will see all of the cars currently in the All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live fleet. The number is up to, let's see. We are up to 769. 769 different cars are currently in the fleet. They are all cataloged, they're all listed, they're all numbered. And why is this important? Because you can look at this page, you can go through these cars, and if you find a car that you think would be faster than one of the cars that I introduce, then all you have to do is click on that car. So let's say you think that this 70 Ford Escort RS 1600 is the car to beat. Then all you have to do is click on that car. You'll get a close-up view. You'll be able to see from the reflection in the mirror whether it's a metal body on a plastic base, plastic body. Did I say plastic base on a metal base? No. Metal body, in this case, on a plastic base. And sometimes it's the reverse. It's a plastic body on a metal base. And if this is the car that you think can be faster than the other cars that are currently set up to race, then all you have to do is take the number of the car, in this case 105, drop that into the chat, and then I will go ahead and pull that car, and it will be entered into the tournament for the day. And we will find out if the car that you picked has what it takes to take out those 6 or the other 5, and if it can also take out our champion, our fastest in fleet car, which we're going to get to, because this is a whole that's a whole other situation that we have going on. What's up, Roughshod? Roughshod is back. Roughshod is consistently picking and participating in the tournament. Appreciate that. And Roughshod has made his pick, and he has picked number 52, the Mach Speeder. And this is, of all the picks that Roughshod's made over the last however many months, this is the best one. The Mach Speeder was the original OG champion. It was our first fastest in fleet car, and it was beating out cars kind of left and right until, I forget which car took it out, but the Mach Speeder is, again, it was our first champion. It is a fast car, and so I have this Mach Speeder. Then I wanted to see, it's similar to what we did with the Blitz Speeder. When it was champion, I ordered another Blitz Speeder because I wanted to find out, was that particular car fast, or was it the design of that car? And so all those cars with that same design were fast. So I did a similar thing with the Mach Speeder, and I got another mainline Mach Speeder, which is just the basic Hot Wheels cars that you get in the store. And then I also got, they used to make those ID Hot Wheels cars that had the little chip that went with the special track set. They were a little more premium, more metal, more intricate kind of designs. And I got one of those, and all 3 of those were fast. So it was something about the design of the Mach Speeder that made it really fast, and really a great car to pick for our track. And if you look at the Mach Speeder, and this is something to keep in mind, because we had our champion, the Blitz Speeder, for 17 weeks, and the look and design of the car, you start to see, and that's what I tell the students, is that if you have 1 race, 2 races, you can't really tell, you can't really make any definite conclusions. But once you start racing the cars over and over and over again, you start to see trends, and that's what is important. And what I tell them is, it's not about, yes, we're racing the cars, yes, you want your car to win, but it's not about the wins and losses. What it's about is observing what's happening and collecting that data so that we can start to see trends, and then we can come to some conclusions after we've gotten more data. So what ends up happening is, and what has ended up happening is, we've done AtTheTrack.live, is we start to see trends. And the Blitz Speeder was winning and winning and winning and winning. But last week, we finally found a car that was able to defeat the Blitz Speeder and become our newest fastest in fleet champion. And that car is this one. It is the Gazella R. And you're going to zoom in right here. And the Gazella R came out of a 2-pack that I bought. And the Gazella R, there was another car in there that I knew I already had, a little hatchback. The Gazella R was the car that I definitely is the reason why I bought the 2-pack. And I didn't expect it to necessarily beat the Blitz Speeder, but based on what we'd seen with the cars that had been competitive with the Blitz Speeder, they shared a similar profile. So if you look at the Gazella, it basically has this smooth upper surface. There's an area for the driver, but it doesn't have a traditional windshield sticking up, and so the lines very smooth right across the top, and then this wing in the back. And I think I'm starting to think that the wing position is, I'm not going to say key, but it's kind of, I'm starting to think it's an important factor, because as I mentioned before, the launcher that I designed has a square block that pushes the cars out. And the more surface area of the car that touches that launching block, the better push, the more consistent push the car is going to get. So every time I'm picking a car, the first thing I'm looking at is the back end. Is the back end flat? Because if it has a flat back end, it's going to press up right against that launching block, and when it fires out, it's going to get a good solid launch. The Gazella has this wing, and the wing's not very wide, but in fact, it's one of the more narrow wings that I've seen, but it's got a flat back end. So that's the part, and it sticks out, so that's the part that presses up right against the launching block. The other thing is the wing is raised up so that it's either it's kind of even with or just slightly above the roof line of the car. And so if I bring in the Blitz Speeder, you're going to see how they're different cars, but you see similarities. So the Blitz Speeder has this, the wing in the back. Let me lock in the focus for a second. The Blitz Speeder has a wider wing in the back, but it's still elevated, basically even with, slightly above the roof line. There's no traditional windshield sticking up, and so especially watch when they come around. These cars, they're very similar, and you can see how the air can have an easy time flowing over, under, and around both of these cars. And the race that we had last week, it was the Gazella took the first race, the Blitz Speeder took the second race, and the Gazella took the third race. And when I went back and looked at the video, the race, especially that third race, was really close, and the Blitz Speeder had a lead basically about halfway through, and then the Gazella caught it. But again, when you just look at these cars, different designs, but you see some things they have in common. And so I'm looking at that wing, I'm looking at the upper part of the car, the fact that it doesn't have a traditional windshield sticking up, And I'm thinking that we have something there, because the cars that competed with the Blitz Speeder and the ones that were competitive also shared that. I'm thinking about the whipped creamer. The top was almost completely flat and smooth, and it took a race from the Blitz Speeder. It didn't come back and win, but that was it. So all that is to say that we're seeing trends, and the trends we're seeing are cars with this sort of similar style and shape are doing well. And so that's why I say, when Roughshod is picking this Mach Speeder 52, you can see again, the design's obviously different, but you see some of the similarities. You see that you know, the cockpit where the driver's sitting, it's not that traditional. It's not a traditional windshield. So the top is relatively smooth. That wing, it's got that wide, flat wing in the back. Another thing about the Mach Speeder that I remember is it's wide. And wide cars do better on the track, because even if they get a bad launch, they're not going to bounce around as much because they're wider, so there isn't as much room for them to bounce around. Narrow cars will kind of ping pong back and forth from side to side as they go down the track. And so any cars that can stay straight have a better shot. The Mach Speeder, haven't seen it race in a while, but this should be a really good set of races that we have today. And I've got some cars that I'm going to be pulling in. So the Gazella is the new champion, but it's going to be challenged right away. There's not going to be any grace period. We're not going to have any squash matches. There's not going to be any opportunity for the Gazella to take a break and bask in its championship glory. The Gazella is going to be put to the test right away. So we've got the Mach Speeder, which I will pull in just a little bit, and we will take a closer look at that. And then we're going to have 5 other cars that are going to compete. And once again, if you want to select a car, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, go to that page, find the car you want, drop the number in the chat, and I will pull it out. So where are we going to start? When I was on vacation, I picked up a character. I picked up a few character cars. I was at this store, Five Below, and they had a bunch of character cars that were cheaper than I would typically find them, I think, but they were on sale, so I picked some up. And one that I picked up, and the first one we're going to add to the fleet, is this one from Dragon's movie. I think it's part of the How to Train Your Dragon. My son is older, so I'm not as familiar with the kids' movies as I was when he was younger, but I think the first one came out when he was still kind of young. So anyway, this is some sequel, and this is based on some character. The car is called Toothless, so I presume that's the name of this dragon, although it's got teeth right there, so I don't know. All I know is this is a cool looking car, and we're going to crack it open and take a closer look and see how it does on the track later, but let's crack it open. Alright, grab my scale here and see what this car weighs. So the Gazella, if I recall, I don't recall, that's why I gotta look. The Gazella is 32.2 grams, which is, I believe, about 2 grams heavier. I'm sorry, 2 grams lighter than the Blitz Speeder. I think the Blitz Speeder was 32.4 grams, if I remember correctly. So this one, Toothless, is going to weigh in at 25.3 grams. Let me double check that. 25.3 grams, that's what it is. So let's put this on the turntable, take a closer look, because this is it's kind of an interesting development, because we rarely see cars this big being this light. I guess I should switch out the background, because it's a little hard to see. That car, black car, against that background. So let me switch this out just a bit, get a better look, lock in the focus, and try something here. We'll go ahead and get this video, and I will add this car to the fleet. This is car number 770, and it is Toothless from the How to Train Your Dragon series of movies. But okay, so we've already established that it's extremely light. It's got a very unique profile, kind of F1 car meets extreme fantasy car. But I think the fact that it's light, it seems a little wider. We're looking at that back end. It's got a wing. The wing isn't straight and flat like some of the other cars that we've just been looking at, but it's definitely got, I think it will probably get a decent launch. But because it's so light, I'm curious to figure out and see how it's actually going to move down the track. Is it going to stay straight? That's the biggest issue. And if we take a closer look, well, first I'll get the still picture. Gotta have a still picture. And let me get photo, zoom in a bit, turn it slightly here. Shift it over, get a little bit of, see if I can put some fill light on there, and take the picture, lock it in focus. Boom. So we have our first car of the day, which is Toothless. But here's the part I was trying to show you. Is you can see that let me switch the view. Right here, these openings, right there. Bring it in. Right here, it's completely open all the way through the back. So if we're talking about the airflow, it's passing right through here. So this area here, there's an opening, and in the back there's an opening. Okay, so there's nothing to obstruct the airflow. And this car, I don't know, we may be looking at, I think there's a possibility that the Gazella is going to have a very short reign as champion. But there's also some of the details on this. You can see the front, it's got the dragon's face. It's got little claws coming over the top. That wing in the back is, I guess, like a dragon's wing. I suppose that symbol has something to do with the movie. But regardless of the movie tie-in, regardless of what the character is all about in the movies, this car is light. It's 7 grams lighter than the Champion. So we'll see how this performs, but I don't know. Keep your eye on this car. If it can stay straight, it might do some damage on the track. So we've got one car in, and we are ready to go. We are going to check out car number 2. Car number 2 will be. We might as well do it. You know what? The Gazella, it's not catching any breaks today. The next car up, I just picked up the other day, and it's the first car that I've picked up that has the it's got the new for 2025 badge on it, and this is the Super Twin Mill. So if you collect Hot Wheels or familiar with Hot Wheels, you know about the Twin Mill, which is one of the classic Hot Wheels cars, kind of like, I mean, the Bone Shaker. And if you go to any of the Hot Wheels Legends Tour events, they have some car shop created a life-size Twin Mill car, and I have a Twin Mill, and I think they did some other Twin Mill too, but this is the Super Twin Mill, and you'll see the reason. You can probably already see the reason why I picked it up based on the conversation, the things I was saying earlier about the design of the car and what I'm starting to look for in terms of cars that perform well on the track. So the Super Twin Mill, let's take a look. Oh wait, I didn't get the year on this Toothless car, 2021. So with the Super Twin Mill on the back, it says, soar to the finish line by combining track blasters with double speed to form a fiery, fast finishing move. Featured in Hot Wheels Let's Race, Coupe's upgraded Twin Mill has holographic spoilers, a souped up body kit, and plenty of power. Okay, so Hot Wheels Let's Race, I think, is a cartoon or animated series or something, because they're referring to somebody named Coupe, so I presume that's a character in the show, and that character created a Super Twin Mill, and this is it. So let's crack it open and take a look. The Super Twin Mill. Remove this background and check out the Super Twin Mill. The Super Twin Mill is that's a good looking car. And in terms of everything we were just talking about, what I'm looking for from these cars to determine whether or not they are going to be able to be competitive on our track, this car checks all the boxes, and it has, let me just lock this focus in, and we are good there. But if you look at the design, it does have these two engines sticking up. They're not as prominent as I remember them on the original Twin Mill. Maybe they are, but they don't appear to be, which is actually good, because that's one less element to provide resistance as the air is flowing over the top of this car. We're looking at this wing in the back. It's elevated. It's at the roof line, maybe slightly above. I'd have to kind of check the angle, but this seems to be the type of car that performs well. So I mean, we are really going to have some kind of race today, because every car so far, I would not be surprised if any of these cars are the car to take the victory. Oh. What's going on here with these lights? Let me try this one. There we go. Leave that one there. All right, get this spun around so I can get the video for this car. And the super twin mill. And if you look, actually, like right in the front, it's got these two, I don't know, it's where the splitters, I suppose it's still the splitters, but it's similar to the Mach Speeder. And the Mach Speeder has those two kind of very prominent, yeah, I suppose it's supposed to work as a splitter, but a splitter slash vent, I don't know. It's hard to say because of the way the plastic is molded, but either way, this is car number 771. This is the twin mill. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's not the twin mill 2. This is the super twin mill. The super twin mill. Okay. And once again, I think remembering the Blitz Speeder, thinking about the Gazella, the Mach Speeder, they all share a similar profile. Now the wing is different. This wing is much wider, and so it's closer to what we've seen with the Blitz Speeder and the wider wing. It has a slight curve to it, but I don't think that should prevent it from getting a good solid launch. So we've got this car, the super twin mill. Let me just check the year. Manufacturer 2024. And let me go ahead and check the weight, because we know that Toothless car is coming in at 25 grams. And this one is 31.4. So this is actually, so the super twin mill is actually lighter than the Gazella. So the Gazella is coming in facing a lot of competition, and serious competition, because these cars are all have the aerodynamic profile that suggests they should do well. Now, will they do well? I don't know. That's why we have to take them to the track. But this is going to be a good race. Now, let's see. We've got the Toothless car. We have the Gazella, and we have Roughshod's Mach Speeder pick, which I am going to go and grab in just a moment. But let's see, we've got, so that basically gives us 3 cards. We've got 2 so far. I have a bag back here, a bunch of different cards in there. And we are going to go with let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Got this 69 Mercury Cougar Eliminator, and the reason why it looks like this is because it's green and there's a green screen. But I need to check to make sure that I do not already have one of these. Let's see. And while I'm looking this up, I'm just going to remind you that you can go to AtTheTrack.live. You can click on choose a car, go to that page, find a car, jump into this tournament. If you think that you can find a car faster than the Mach Speeder, Toothless, the Super Twin Mill, and the Gazella, and possibly this one if I don't already have one, 69 Mercury, 69 Camaro, 69 Ford Torino, do not have one, have one now. All right, so let's crack this one open and go ahead and add this to the list of tournament participants. But like I said, if you go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, go to that page, find the car you think could beat these cars, take that number that's beside the car, drop it into the chat, I'll pull the car, we'll race. That's how it works here. So let's crack this one open. '69 Mercury Cougar Eliminator. So we're going with the American muscle car, and I have no problem with that at all. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this car as it comes around. Let me lock in the focus there. And I think that this car, my expectations, I think they would be different if it was going up against different sets of cars. And I think it could potentially be fast against similar muscle cars, cars of similar style and weight. But I think today we've stumbled across what's going to be just a high-powered matchup. And if you're not absolutely the upper echelon of Hot Wheels cars, I don't think that there's really all that much chance of a more traditional car coming in and making an impact. But you never know, which is always why we have to race the cars. We can speculate, we can have ideas, but until we actually hit the track and the cars race, cross that finish line, we don't know. So the Mercury Cougar Eliminator, 69 Mercury Cougar Eliminator. I would help if I spelled Mercury correctly, M-E-R-C-U-R. All right, so we've got this car, and it's a good-looking car, and that's, again, with Hot Wheels, I'm either buying them because of the design, I think they'll be fast, or in the case of this one, I just really like the car. And sometimes Hot Wheels with the basic cars, they don't seem to put as much detail and energy and effort into making them look appealing, but other times they do. I like the racing stripes. I like the chrome on the green. I like the metal flake green paint. This is a great looking car. And I am now going to come in here and get this picture. Now we're gonna see if this will. I have all of these lights, and I finally figured out with these particular work lights that when they start when it flashes like that, it's because the battery is going out. So I'm gonna do this really quickly. Boom. I'm always just working with the setup, trying to get the best possible pictures. And with all of photography, the most important thing is light and lighting. So we've got our 69. Let me check the year this was manufactured. 2008. And I am going to check the weight. It seems a bit heavier, but 36 grams. It's not. It's not. I wouldn't classify it as being heavy. It's just heavier than some of the other cars. So I'm still surprised that Toothless car is so light. That's probably the biggest surprise for me of the day so far. But we have the 69 Mercury Cougar Eliminator, and I need to put the year in, 2008. We have the Super Twin Mill. We have Toothless. We have the Gazella, our champion, which will await the winner. We have the Mach Speeder, which was Roughshods' pick. And so let's see what's going to be next. One here. Let's go with I don't have many Matchbox cars, but I've started to kind of look at the Matchbox cars, and usually if I'm buying a Matchbox car, it's just because it caught my eye, not because I think it's going to be fast on the track. Because I think there was a Bugatti and maybe one or two other Matchbox cars that have done well on the track, but for whatever reason, whatever design differences there are, the Matchbox cars tend not to do as well as the Hot Wheels cars. Even though Mattel makes both cars and brands, there's clearly something different. Even though the Hot Wheels cars are usually, the proportions are more exaggerated than the actual cars, whereas the Matchbox cars tend to stay more true to the actual dimensions of the car that they're representing. So, with all that said, the Matchbox car I picked up was this one, this Morris Minor Saloon. And with at the grocery store that I go to, they've started to have Matchbox cars that are in these boxes versus in the traditional kind of packaging that's more like this. So let me open this up, because you can't really, you just kind of get a 3/4 view, and so I'm not sure what the back end of the car looks like. I just decided to pick it up. So let me open up this box and we'll take a look at the Morris, what did I say it was? The Morris Minor Saloon. Okay. I mean, the box is it's a good idea. I think what they should do, though, is they have a picture here. Since they have other sides of the box, instead of just putting the same picture on, well, I guess this one's bigger, but instead of just putting the same picture on both sides of the box, maybe have a side profile view or something so that you can get a better idea of what the car looks like before you purchase it. But hey, I'm sure they want my input. Yeah, see, if I'd seen the back end of this car, I may have thought twice about picking it up, or maybe not. But the Morris Mini, let's see how much it weighs first. And it's got a 70. Is this like the 70th year from the 70th year of Hot Wheels? I'm sorry, Matchbox. It says 70 special edition. Oh, 70 years. Yeah, so I guess 70 years of Matchbox. Whenever, I don't know if this was held over from last year, or if 2024 is the 70th anniversary of Matchbox. But either way, happy birthday, Matchbox. This car weighs in at 29.2 grams. And I think, let's go ahead and take a look at it. The Morris Minor Saloon, and I think it is going to have minor success on the track, but that is just my opinion, and I could be proven wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope that this is a sleeper car. I hope that this car shocks us all, but I'm not exactly hopeful that it will. See, one thing is I'm interested to find out, and I don't know how I would get this done because I am not a Hot Wheels car customizer, but with the Matchbox car, I do notice that the cars, the tires on the Matchbox cars have little ridges on the edges, and they're different than the Hot Wheels cars, so they're meant to match the tread on an actual tire, keeping with the idea that the Matchbox cars more closely resemble the actual cars. And so with those wheels, with the little ridges, maybe the wheels and axles are different on the Matchbox cars, but there's something to the Matchbox, because they just don't move down the track as quickly as the Hot Wheels cars. And so I'm thinking that must be part of it. There's got to be something. So what I was saying with regard to me not being a customizer is I'd be interested to see if someone took Hot Wheels wheels and axles, put them on a Matchbox car. Does that change the outcome? Would that change the outcome on our track? The problem that I tend to have is with the customizers. They use, if they're gonna swap out the wheels on a Hot Wheels car, they're going to actually use premium wheels and real riders and things that just don't work on our track. I'm also not certain if the axle spins as freely once it's swapped out. So those are things I just don't know because I'm not a customizer. I might be totally wrong, and I would hope someone would tell me. But these Matchbox cars, Bin Laden weed. Not a fan of how Matchbox rolls. Love the way they look. Yeah. And I find myself, like, when I do pick up Matchbox cars, it's usually because I just like the way they look, not because I'm expecting them to do anything of significance on the track. But one thing I have noticed is that with these wheels, with the little, you can see the little ridges right there where they're sort of mimicking the the tread on the tires. When the cars are rolling down the track, they do make a little sound. It's like a clicking, kind of buzzing sound that is unique. But other than that, they're just not. The Matchbox cars just don't hold up. So let's see. Use sticky tack for wheel strops to keep the axles in. Adds weight. Okay. So see, and that's kind of the other thing is that, well, first of all, let me ask, when you do your wheel swaps, because I have some old Hot Wheels cars. For example, I have this flat out 442 that I played with as a kid out on the playground and with my friends, whatever. And the axles are bent. And so what I wanted to do is I want to get the wheels swapped out, but I don't want real riders, or I would just want kind of plastic Hot Wheels wheels. Is that possible? Because every time I've looked into it, it seems that the wheels that are available are these premium wheels that I just don't know if they would actually roll and be competitive. Because ultimately, if I can't make the car faster, or at least as fast as it should be, then I'll just leave it in its kind of original condition. And in this case, that condition is pretty much beat up. But I have a lot of these cars, and if I could find a way to swap out the wheels with just regular Hot Wheels wheels, I would bring back a whole bunch of my cars from the 70s and 80s to hit the track. So right now we have the Morris Minor Saloon. Let me check the manufacturing year on this one. 2022. So the Morris Minor Saloon 2022. And I am going to go and pull Roughshod's pick, which is the Mach Speeder. And if anyone else wants to select a car, just go to AtTheTrack.live. The address is over there. AtTheTrack.live. Select the choose a car option, and you will be taken to a page that has 769 cars listed. And all you have to do is take that number of that car, drop it into the chat. I'll pull the car like I'm just about to do with Roughshod's pick, and we will add it to the mix and see if it can defeat Toothless, the Mercury Cougar Eliminator, the Super Twin Mill, the Morris Mini Saloon, the Morris Minor Saloon, not Mini. All right, so I'm gonna grab Roughshod's pick 52. Should just take me a few seconds, and we will see. So I'll be right back. Okay, and that is the benefit of keeping these cars organized, is that they are easy to find when I need them. And let's see here. Discarded the Hot Wheels casting just to put the wheels on a Matchbox. Nice. Oh, okay. So you'll get the Hot Wheels car, crack it open, and then just take those same wheels and axle, and then put them on the Matchbox car, I presume. See, I just don't know. Yeah, everything's on YouTube. Okay. Do you happen to have any? Do you have any YouTube channel or some instructional video somewhere where I could see some of your work? Maybe Instagram or somewhere. I'm always interested because nowadays you can learn pretty much anything that you want to learn online, and there's always people out there smarter and more creative, and I'm always amazed at some of the things people are out there doing, and always looking to learn something else. All right, here we go. This is Rough Shot's pick. This is the Mach Speeder. This is, as I said, this was the original fastest at the track live, fastest in fleet champion. It was a champion before I even came up with the term fastest in fleet. It was just the fastest car that I could find. And once again, if you look at the profile now, the one thing is these, I don't know how to catalog this because it's not something you would see on a normal car, but it's got these, I want to say it would be where the splitter is, usually down at the bottom, but it ends up with these cones. And I was thinking that they're essentially two cups that are going to trap the air, but that wasn't the case. The air flowed over, under, and around the Mach Speeder with ease, and the Mach Speeder was one of our fastest cars for a while, and it was our original fastest car. One thing that we noted earlier is with the wing position. And again, this wing is higher. It's in line, slightly above, or at least in line with the roof line. And it's flat. It presses right up against the launching block. And this car is wide. So it's just about as wide as the Hot Wheels track. So it gets good solid pushes and doesn't tend to waver or wobble much at all. It was I forget which car ultimately beat this one, but this was champ for a little while. And if I just put this in, let me stop this, and if I take this, we're going to take a look at all three of these. Let me put this in here. Put that there. So if we take a look at the Mach Speeder, the Gazella, the Blitz Speeder, and let's go ahead and throw this super twin mill in there. Now we haven't seen, the super twin mill is the only one in the group that we haven't seen perform, but the Gazella we know is fast. The Blitz Speeder was champion for 17 weeks, so we know that car is fast. Blitz Speeder is fast. The Gazella beat the Blitz Speeder. The Mach Speeder was one of our original champions. And you can see why I picked the twin mill and why I think the twin mill has a shot today, because I'm looking at this wing just at the roof line, wing right at the roof line, wing right at the roof line, wing right at the roof line. The upper part of the car, there's no traditional windshield. We're not in a situation with if we look at, you know, this Cougar, that you can see what these other cars don't have. They don't have the windshield sticking up right there. And I think just based on the profile that this Mach Speeder could be the car. But then we do have the sleeper, and I don't know how much of a sleeper it's going to be, but this is the one right here. Toothless. When we hit the track, this is the lightest car. And it's the lightest car. It's got a very unique design and profile, and it's really hard to tell sometimes with these fantasy cars how the air is going to flow up, over, and around them. And we are just going to find out. So the Blitz Speeder is out of the running unless the Gazella can remain champion for 17 weeks. At that point, then the Blitz Speeder is going to come back for a rematch. However, today it's out. So we've got the Gazella, our champ, and Toothless, the lightest car so far. We've got the Mach Speeder, which is Roughshods pick. We've got the Super Twin Mill. We've got the Mercury Morris Minor Saloon. And then the Mercury Cougar Eliminator. I mentioned last week that I bought some cars on eBay, and because I'm, again, looking for cars with a certain profile, trying to find cars that were, at the time when I bought these, cars that could compete with the Blitz Speeder, because we were having such a hard time finding cars that could compete with the Blitz Speeder. So I saw this one, the Clear Speeder, and maybe it's if a car has Speeder in the name. I don't know. We've got the Mach Speeder, we had the Blitz Speeder, now we've got the Clear Speeder. And I found them on eBay. They were opened, which doesn't matter to me because I'm obviously going to open the package anyway, so why pay more for a car that's on the card versus one that's open? So the person who was selling it, I could get two for basically the price of one that was still in the package. So I got these two. Since they're open and they're the same car, I don't know which one. I mean, I presume they're not going to sell me cars with bent axles, but it's possible. So what I'm going to do is, since we've got two of these, we're going to have a head-to-head race. It's going to be Clear Speeder versus Clear Speeder. So we'll take a look at them, but I'm not going to take the pictures and the video until we figure out which one is actually going to stay in the fleet. So there's going to be a head-to-head race between these two cars. Whichever one makes it or wins is going to be the one that stays in the fleet. So I don't know that there's too much difference. I'm going to check the weight and see if they weigh the same, because they might be the exact same car just with different coloring, although the wheels are different. So the purple one is 32.9 grams. The orange one is 35.5 grams. So there's definitely something different. Let me just double check, make sure I didn't have any issues with the scale. So now the purple one's coming in at 33.5 grams. And the orange one is coming in at 35.3. So there is some difference. Let's switch over here. Oh, I messed around in the temperature sensor on the other phone / camera has gone off, so that camera's offline for right now. So I'll just hold these up here. The Clear Speeder, there is no wing, but as you can see, it's got an extremely low profile, and it reminded me a little bit of the Whipped Creamer, because that car, the top was completely flat. So this is also interesting because usually we're talking about a plastic base on a metal body on a plastic base, or a plastic body on a metal base. I think I said that right. Either way, this car is unique because it's plastic. Then it's got this metal element right here in the middle. and then it's plastic on the bottom. So it does, if you look on the inside, which you can't see here, there is the driver's cockpit, and that appears to be metal as well. So it looks like it's metal sandwiched in between two pieces of plastic, and similar thing with this, the orange one. And the reason why the wheels are like that is because they're green, and again, the green screen. But it's plastic, metal, and some more plastic. So that's a bit of an interesting change and something that we don't typically see with these. Let's see if the camera has cooled off enough to resume operation. Let's see. We'll take a closer look at these two cars, and get this off here, go over here, and you can see now the wheels are different, and I don't know if these are on the purple car. I don't know if those are faster than ever wheels. In which case the axles would be nickel plated, and it would allow the wheels to spin more freely with less friction. But other than that, we're pretty much looking, or not pretty much, we're looking at identical cars. And so we're going to race those first. Whichever one comes out of that group is going to join the other cars in the tournament. And the other cars being, let me make sure I've got, yeah, we've got a full count. We're all ready to go. We've got the Morris Minor Saloon. We've got the one of these clear speeders, the Mach Speeder from Roughshod. We've got the Super Twin Mill, Toothless, and the 69 Mercury Cougar. So we are ready to go. But before we do that, we just have to review what exactly it is that you will be seeing. If this is your first time watching At The Track Live, watching our races, when we go to the track, you will be seeing this view. It is our 3-camera view. The cars begin in the launcher at the top of the screen on the left. I will give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I'll hit the switch. The cars will come flying out of the launcher. They'll come from top to the bottom of the screen. They'll pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left, and they will show up at the top of the screen in the middle, the center section of our track. The cars will come from top to bottom, pass out of the bottom part of that screen, and they will show up at the top of the screen on the right, our finish line camera. The cars will come flying from top to bottom. They will cross the finish line, and the winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light indicates the winning car. The losing car will be indicated with a flashing red light. The races are best 2 out of 3. The cars will switch lanes after each race, and then we will continue with that until we have a winner. Also, the cars, if they happen to crash, we will restart the race. If a car crashes twice consecutively, then that car is eliminated, because if a car crashes twice consecutively in the same way, in the same place, then usually there's an issue with the car that is not going to be resolved by just running the race over again. So if a car crashes twice consecutively, it is eliminated. And also, when it crashes, it has to leave the track, because we've had cars that have crashed, ended up upside down, but stayed on the track. And while they crashed, they stayed on the track, so that result stands. In order to get the restart, the car needs to come off the track. So that is it. We have quite a lineup today. I can't wait to see how these races turn out. So I am going to gather up these cars, and we are going right to the track. So I'll see you over there in 30 seconds. Okay, here we go. Let me just, as always, just want to double check the audio, make sure everything is good. 1, 2, yep. We've got audio, we've got cars, we've got a brand new fastest in fleet champion, so we are ready to go. At the track live, this is the best part because we have to find out. We've I've speculated. I made guesses in the store. Roughshod made a guess when he selected his car, and now we get to put these cars to the test and see what's going to happen. The Toothless car, is the fact that it's the lightest car that we have, is that going to make a difference? I don't know. But before we do all that, the first race up is going to be Clear Speeder versus Clear Speeder, and we are going to figure out which one of these cars is going to make it into the fleet. So this is the kind of race that I plan to do with some of the other duplicate cars that I have. Only one can be in the fleet. There can only be one. And in order to determine that, I want the fastest of the duplicates. So we're going to start to have some head-to-head races to eliminate some of the duplicates and find out which car is going to represent for that particular model. So we've got the purple Clear Speeder, if I can get it to stay in position in the launching area. The purple Clear Speeder is in lane 1, and that is the one that has the I forget it. I wasn't looking at it. It is 2, 4, 5. The 5-spoke wheel design, and then we've got the orange Clear Speeder in lane 2, and that is the one with the more standard Hot Wheels wheels. So 5-spoke Clear Speeder in lane 1, standard wheels Clear Speeder in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Woo! That was interesting. Purple 5-spoke Clear Speeder took it, but it didn't take it until pretty much like the last third of the track. The other Clear Speeder had the edge and was ahead, and it just sort of gave out toward the end. And usually we see that with heavier cars, but these cars are about the same in weight. Now, I also have to remember that both of these cars were used, and I don't know if that means the person was a Hot Wheels collector who just took them out of the pack so they could take pictures, or if this means, they belonged to some kid and some parent was like, you know what, we need to clean up this room and I'm getting rid of all these Hot Wheels cars, and then they put it on eBay and I got a car that some kid has been playing with, and maybe there's something going on with the wheels and axles. I don't know. They appear to be okay, but that was a strange performance. So now we're switching lanes, and we've got the 5-spoke Clear Speeder that just took the first race. The 5-spoke Clear Speeder is in lane 2, and the traditional wheels Clear Speeder is in lane 1. Here we go, race 2. Three, 2, 1, race. Okay, 5-spoke Clear Speeder didn't appreciate the fact that it got out to a slow start in the first race and had no such problems this time around. So the Clear Speeder, the 5-spoke edition, is the one that is going to become a part of the fleet, and it is also the one that is going to move on in today's tournament. The other Clear Speeder is going to end up in the prize bin, so some student who participates in the class is going to have a chance to select the orange Clear Speeder as their prize car. But we are moving on. The next race up, we're going to go... let's go with that Mercury Minor... why do I keep saying Mercury? The Morris Minor Saloon car. It's got to hit the track, so it might as well be now. And we'll put that one up. What would be fair? It's not going to be fair against really any of these, but we'll go with Mercury Minor. The Mercury Cougar against the Morris Minor Saloon. So let's see how this turns out. We're going to get the Morris Minor Saloon, the Matchbox, the lone Matchbox car is lined up in lane 2, and it's a narrow, small little car, and it's going up against the 69 Mercury Cougar Eliminator. So, I don't have high hopes for the Morris mini Morris Saloon, whatever it is. I'm not going to have to say that name. I'm not going to have to repeat it and remember it much longer, because we're about to have this first race, and the Morris Saloon is in lane 2. The Mercury Cougar is in lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the Morris Saloon was defeated in the first race. The speed was okay, and I like the little noise that the Matchbox cars make. That's cool. But it's not able to compete. It's not on the level of the cars that it is currently dealing with. So we are going to have one more race, and then the Morris Mini Saloon, or whatever it's called, is going to be put out of its misery. It's going to return to the fleet, to the garage, probably never to be selected again. But you never know. Here we go. At some point, I think I might also, I'm talking about all these races in the future that I'm planning. An all Matchbox race is probably in order, but I don't know. I don't identify them specifically as Matchbox cars when I catalog them, so I'd actually have to look through each one and pull out the Matchbox car, so that might be a little bit of work. But nevertheless, that's probably the next time and the only time this Morris Saloon car will have the opportunity to race after this next race right here. So the Morris Saloon is in lane 1, the Mercury Cougar is in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the Mercury had no problem dispatching the Morris Saloon. And now that we've gotten that car out of the way, we're going to get down to some serious business right here. This is where we're going to get to the cars that should be able to challenge the Gazella for the fastest in fleet title. And we are going to go with Roughshod's Mach Speeder against the Super Twin Mill. And the Super Twin Mill has the same orange and blue color scheme as the Mach Speeder, and I like that. So we're going to put the Mach Speeder in lane 2, line it up. It hasn't been on the track in a while. And we're going to put the Super Twin Mill in lane 1. It's interesting because the Super Twin Mill is wide at the back end, but it's a little narrower at the front. The Mach Speeder is wide front to back, and I think that's one of the things that helps keep it on the track and helps it do so well. But here we go. We've got Roughshod's Mach Speeder in lane 2. We've got the Super Twin Mill in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo. Okay, So the Super Twin Mill decided to crash, come over into lane number 2, which then led to the Mach Speeder crashing. So both cars left the track, but we are just going to restart that race. We're going to act as though it never happened, and I am going to hope that I got some good video footage of that crash. And straighten out the tripod that they both slammed into. And all right, let's reset these cars. Nothing like a dramatic crash on the track to really let us know that some serious drag racing and some serious speed is being achieved. So here we go. Cars have been reset. We've got the Mach Speeder in lane 2. We have the Super Twin Mill in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Now the Mach Speeder crashes. All right, let's, so we have the Super Twin Mill crash out. Now this time we have the Mach Speeder crash, and let's get back. And this is, again, typically, and we've had one crash for each. Even if the Mach Speeder crashes here, I know that there's nothing inherently wrong with the Mach Speeder, so there's no reason that it shouldn't make it down the track. Sometimes cars just get a tough launch, bad launch, and that happens. But we are going to set these cars up once again and see if we can get an actual race out of them. All right, we've had two races, 2 crashes, and 2 restarts. Here we go again. Mach Speeder lane 2, Super Twin Mill lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. You gotta be kidding me. This time, it's switched over. Now it's the Super Twin Mill that decided to crash. So it's been Super Twin Mill crash, Mach Speeder crash, and now Super Twin Mill decided it was gonna crash. And, you know, the rules are you have to crash consecutively. Neither of these cars has done that. They've alternated crashing, so we are going to find out once again what's going on. All right, get these cars lined up. Mach Speeder, as we know, for the 3rd time, the Mach Speeder is going to be lined up in lane number 2. The Super Twin Mill is going to be lined up in lane number 1, presuming I can get it to stay put in the launch position. And there it is. All right, both these cars are in. Both these cars are ready to go. Once again, Mach Speeder lane 2, Super Twin Mill lane 1, race number, this is like 4. All right, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Okay, both cars stayed on the track finally, and the Super Twin Mill took race number 1. And we will switch lanes and see if that trend continues or if we will have to go to a 3rd and final race. The Super Twin Mill. I don't think I recall having a race where the cars have crashed 3 times consecutively or alternated crashing like that, but it's always the first time for everything. And these are 2 cars that I know there's nothing wrong with their design, so there's no reason why they shouldn't stay on the track, but you know, you never know. All right, Mach Speeder is in lane 1, the Super Twin Mill is in lane 2, and this is race number 2. If the Super Twin Mill takes it, it's moving on. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Super Twin Mill, the first car from the new for 2025 set that I have picked up, took that race, and now we are going to find out if one of these cars is going to be able to take out Toothless. This is another one that I'm very interested in. Now, if you had told me ahead of time which cars I expected, or I thought if I had to pick one that might crash, I would have picked the Morris Mini blah 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 Saloon, and I would have picked this Toothless car only because it's so light. I think it was 25 grams or so. So we're going to find out right now if that's going to be a detriment or if that's going to help it out. So we're going to go Toothless versus the Mercury Eliminator and find out if the American muscle car can muscle out this character car from How to Train Your Dragon or Dragons or whatever. All right, so we've got Toothless in lane 1. We've got the Cougar in lane 2. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Woo! That was a lot closer than I thought it would be, and I had to look at the lights at the end to determine, to see which car actually won. It was Toothless, but not by a lot. That Cougar, the Mercury Cougar Eliminator, was not going to go down easily without a fight. So we are going to switch lanes, and Toothless, it goes to show, just because a car is light does not mean that it's going to perform well on the track, although the Toothless car did perform well enough to win. So there is that. It doesn't matter if you win by a mile or an inch, you still won. So we've got the Toothless car. If I can get it to press up against the launching block, that would be helpful. All right, so the Toothless car is in lane 2, and the 69 Mercury Cougar Eliminator is in lane 1. Toothless car pushed off the block one more time. All right, Toothless lane 2, Mercury Cougar lane 1, race 2. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Toothless car, I think it got a better launch that time, and it defeated the Mercury by a decent amount. It wasn't as close as the last race. It was a little more clear. So I think getting a good solid launch is key and important. So now we are down to 3 cars. We've got Toothless, we've got the Clear Speeder, and we've got the Super Twin Mill. So we're going to go Clear Speeder versus Super Twin Mill. Get these cars set up. These cars have appeared to be fast, but it's hard to kind of gauge until we've run more races. So the Super Twin Mill is set up in lane number 1, and the Clear Speeder is in lane number 2. And we are ready to go. Clear Speeder lane 2, Super Twin Mill lane 1. Here we go, race 1. Three, 2, 1, race. The Super Twin Mill took it with ease, and if the Super Twin Mill ends up winning today's tournament and then challenging the Gazella, then I'm going to start to really have some more serious information about which cars perform best on our track. And that Super Twin Mill, that race wasn't close. So we're going to find out if it can continue to be that dominant, or if the Clear Speeder is going to force a third and decisive race. If I can get it lined up properly, which I've done. All right, Clear Speeder in lane 1, Super Twin Mills in lane 2, and we are going to need to see a better performance out of the Clear Speeder if it wants to move on. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Super Twin Mill took that with complete and total ease, and it sets up a finals matchup of Toothless versus the Super Twin Mill. And the winner of that will take on our new champ, the Gazella. So we are going to go and set up these two cars. We've got Toothless, and the Super Twin Mill is in lane 1. Will it stay put? Yes, it will. And Toothless, the lightest car in the bunch, is in lane 2. And the Toothless car is wide. Like, it could not be, if it was even a ½ millimeter wider, it would not fit in our launching block. It is in there with no room to spare in terms of the width, but it's in there. So we have Toothless in lane 2. We have the Super Twin Mill in lane 1, and this is race 1. This is the finals. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. And Super Twin Mill had a throwback crash, throwing back to its earlier matchup with Roughshod's Mach Speeder, in which the cars kept alternating opportunities to crash. So this race will be started again, and we'll see if we can keep cars on the track. The Toothless car made it down the track with no problem, so we're going to see if it can keep up with the Super Twin Mill, which has seemed to be, when it stayed on the track, the Super Twin Mill has been very fast, at least against the cars that it's faced. And we are going to find out if that trend is going to continue. All right, there we go. Super Twin Mill, lane 1. Toothless, lane 2. Race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Super Twin Mill obliterates Toothless. And Toothless is going to need to have some bite if it's going to step up in this next race and force a third race, because that Super Twin Mill, wow, that was, it's one thing, it's hard to tell if a car is fast, but the margin of victory tells me something, because I know that the Toothless car isn't slow, but it looked slow in that race. So we are going to switch lanes. We're going to have Toothless in lane 1. And we are going to have the Super Twin Mill in lane 2. And we are going to see which car takes it. If the Super Twin Mill wins this race, then it is our champ for today, and it will be looking at the Gazella R. But Toothless could always pull out this race and force a third, but we won't know until we get this underway. So here we go. Race number 2. Toothless lane 1, Super Twin Mill lane 2. 3, 2, 1, race. The Super Twin Mill, with an outstanding performance, blows the doors off of Toothless, and we are now set up to have Super Twin Mill go up against the Gazella R. The Gazella R did the unimaginable and took out the Blitz Speeder last week. The Blitz Speeder was champion for 17 weeks. The Gazella came in and defeated that car, and now it is time to find out if the Super Twin Mill, put it in the wrong position. Okay, got it. Gazella R, Super Twin Mill. It's time to see if the Gazella is really up to the weight of being champion. And as Brian Danielson said, you're not really a champion until you've defended your title. So I don't know if that's true, but we're going to find out right now. Does the Gazella R have what it takes to defend the title of fastest in-fleet car? The Gazella R, our current fastest in-fleet champion, is in lane 1. We've got the Super Twin Mill in lane 2, and we are about to have race number 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Oh, Gazella R took it, not by a lot. I had to look at the lights to see which car actually crossed the finish line first. It turns out it was, in fact, the Gazella R. So the Gazella R, the car that took down the Blitz Speeder, has taken the first race from the Super Twin Mill. The Super Twin Mill is obviously a fast car. It was hard to tell. We're just sort of guessing based on the margin of victory, but being able to hang with the car that took out the Blitz Speeder says something. It says that the Super Twin Mill is a fast car, and against most cars, it would probably have a shot to destroy them, but it's facing the Gazella R, the car that took down the champ. So the Gazella R is one win away from its first title defense. So the Gazella R is in lane 2. The Super Twin Mill is in lane 1. Will we have a third and final race? That all depends on the Super Twin Mill and how it performs. So here we go. Race number 2, Gazella lane 2, Super Twin Mill lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Wow. The Twin Mill pulled its same stunt, something that it did against the Mach Speeder. So the Twin Mill comes out of the block. It flies up into the air in its lane, goes into lane 2, and then essentially surfs on the roof of the Gazella for part way down the track until it causes both the cars to crash. So both cars came off, both cars blasted into the tripod, and we will restart that race. That was interesting. That was different. Some of these, I'm hoping that they all happened within the correct camera view and angle, because I definitely want to see how all this played out. And we will set these cars up again. And let's go. Gazella is in lane 2. And the Super Twin Mill is in lane 1. Is this going to be the last run of the day, or is the Super Twin Mill going to decide it's not ready to go home? We will find out momentarily. All right, cars are lined up again. Super Twin Mill needs to take this race, otherwise it's over. So here we go. Three, two, one, race. Super Twin Mill tried, but it couldn't get the job done. And the winner and still champion is the Gazella R. Let me gather up these cars, head back into the garage. We'll take a look at the winners, the losers, and what's coming up next. So we have the Super Twin Mill. I would say it outperformed and beat out the expectations, or maybe that's a little strong. I expected it to do well, but what's happened is we've seen that cars with this particular kind of profile are starting to separate themselves and show that they are more than up to the challenge of becoming the fastest in fleet car. But the Twin Mill didn't make it. The car that did make it, that held on to its crown, the Gazella R retained, and yeah, a new era has begun. This is a car that is probably going. In all likelihood, this car should be around for a while because the Blitz Speeder was just so dominant. I know I keep bringing up the Blitz Speeder, even though the Blitz Speeder is no longer the champion. The fact that this car beat the Blitz Speeder, and we had such a hard time finding cars to even give the Blitz Speeder a good competitive race, just lets me know how fast this car is. And the results today show that the victory wasn't a fluke. It wasn't an accident. The Blitz Speeder didn't. It's not because the Blitz Speeder got bad launches. It's because this car is fast. That Twin Mill is a very fast car, and especially in that first race, it just lost. And that was a close race, but nevertheless it lost. So we move on. But getting a little closer on the champ. This Gazella, I think it's going to be around for a while. However, we may have found the formula, and the formula seems to be, if you want to be competitive against a car like the Gazella, having this smooth upper portion of the car, and then this wing in the back a little elevated, equal to the roof line, seems to be the design that comes into play. Because once again, if we take a look at this car, at the Super Twin Mill, and you can, even though the cars are designed differently, you can see the similarities. And I think that that's pretty much the way to go, at least for now. And that may change in the future. Maybe we'll find a different style of car, different design that proves effective. But for right now, these are the types of cars that are doing well. If we put the Blitz Speeder there, you can see how similar they are in design. And these cars, these are three very fast cars. But That's just how it is. So we're gonna take these two away, let the champ shine, and we will see next week if we can pull out find a car that's competitive, because I still have quite a few cars in my storage bags, and it's not even storage. And this is why it's so hard to get the champ in focus. This is why it's so hard to get ahead, because I have all these cars in storage, so I should just be taking cars out of storage, bringing them over, and getting them into the fleet. But instead, what happens is I go to the store, I see some cars, I buy some cars. Go to the store, see some cars, buy some cars. And next thing I know, when it comes to Saturday, I've got a bag here. I've got actually 3 bags here with Hot Wheels cars in them that I'm pulling from. Haven't even touched the storage. So we're guaranteed to definitely, have more At The Track Live races way into the future, because I've got so many cars that still haven't been introduced into the fleet. So I don't know. I'm just excited to find a car that can take out, be competitive with the Gazella R. And we also had this Clear Speeder, which was not as I don't know. It didn't. I thought it would do better, but I think what this car was missing, if we're gonna just go with recent history, this car seemed to be missing the wing. Would that have made a difference if this car had the big wing in the back right here? Would that have made the difference? Would that have pushed this car a little further and made it a little more competitive? I don't know. It's quite possible. But since this is the car that won of the 2, this is the car that gets to stay in the fleet. And therefore, I need to get a picture of this one. We got the picture. And the Clear Speeder is going to, if I can turn this light off. There we go. The Clear Speeder is going to be car number 774. See if I can grab the video before the camera overheats once again. And this car, I don't know what I just feel like it should have done better than it did. And the results are what the results are. It's just like in sports, you are what your record says you are. So, the fact that I wanted it to perform better really doesn't matter. It performed how it performed, and I think against most cars it would be fine. But it's not going up against most cars. It's going up against the new champ. It's going up against the new fastest car on the planet. It's going up against cars that are getting picked based on observations of race after race. And I was actually, another surprise today is I was surprised that the Mach Speeder didn't do better. I don't know if it's a case of the Hot Wheels drag track racing game has passed it by, but when I first started off, that was the car. That was the car to beat. And today it just didn't have it. But then again, it was racing the twin mill, and as we saw, the twin mill, the super twin mill, is a fast car and was keeping up and almost beating the champ. So I don't think so. Maybe the Mach Speeder, it hasn't slowed down, but it's just not as fast as the cars we were dealing with today. Oh, that's why. See, on this camera, whenever I have it set to 4K, the highest possible quality setting, that's when it tends to overheat, and I forgot to change that. But anyway, got the video. But with the Mach Speeder, I'm telling you that I think that the one drawback to the Mach Speeder are these whatever this area right here in front of the car is just, it's like a cup almost that's trapping the air in my opinion, like right there. And I can't imagine that that's helpful, but I think that the car generally kind of tends to overcome that. But I mean, what, you're just trapping the air on both sides right in the front of the car. So as close as these races tend to be, I think that sometimes minor things like that could have an impact. So I've mentioned before that I ordered through Kickstarter. This company has made a wind tunnel for 1/64 scale cars, so Hot Wheels, Matchbox, etc. And then they're making some for larger cars. The ones for the 1/64 scale cars have been completed, and they're in production and should be shipping them out soon. If you go to the device is called Winsible, but on Instagram, their Instagram handle is FunTech Labs. But if you do a Google search for Winsible, you'll find it. And when I get that, hopefully soon, then we'll be able to actually take a look at these, put these cars in the wind tunnel, and see how does the air interact with these cars, and especially the fantasy cars that have all the weird curves and twists and openings and things like that. So all that is coming up, but for now, we have our champion has defended its title. 16 more title defenses to go, and then there will be a rematch with the Blitz Speeder. But I'm going to go ahead and presume that as we have this new information about the types of cars that perform well, I'm looking for this car not to make it to that level, but who knows? We are going to find out. So it will be next Saturday when we show up, and I am going to be on Instagram. I'm really trying to make an effort to get up there more frequently, do some different things, preview some of the races, preview some of the cars that are going to be racing, cars that I've picked up, different things. So if you haven't already, just follow us over on Instagram, AA Aerodynamics. And of course, you can learn more about the science program there or at the website aaerodynamics.com. And we will be back here Saturday. And Roughshod, you had a good pick. I was with you. I was with you right there with the Mach Speeder. I thought that was like the sleeper pick, but turns out not to be. But next week there'll be new cars, new tournament, and more Hot Wheels fun. So until next time, I am Coach James for All About Aerodynamics and At The Track Live. And until next time, I will see you at the races.